first movie I'm going to discuss is the movie Wild Things, released in March of 1998. This movie stars Kevin Bacon, Neve Campbell, Matt Dillon, Denise Richards, and Bill Murray. And this is a thriller. The genre is like a thriller, this movie. And basically, the premise of this movie is Matt Dillon's character, who is this counselor at this school, is accused of sexual crimes against a student, against two students, Denise Richards' character and Neve Campbell. I won't get into spoiler territory with this movie because I feel like if you've not watched this before, or maybe you've not watched in a while, the twists and turns in this movie, I wouldn't want to spoil it, so I won't get into spoiler territory. But he gets accused of crimes pretty early on in this movie, Matt Dillon's character. But the way they show it, they don't really show the crime, so you're kind of not sure whether he is guilty of the crime or whether he is innocent of the crime. And it kind of like, it goes fades to black, and then you're kind of like left to wonder whether he's guilty or not. And it is a very, very good movie. But I will say, kind of like maybe like 30, 40 minutes, and maybe the first part of the movie, the first act, it felt very like generic. It wasn't bad, but it felt like I've seen this sort of movie before. It's like a whodunit and the mystery, and it felt obvious. And then it just took twists and turns, this movie, where I just didn't see them coming. And I was just surprised. And then I was like, let's scratch my previous thought. This movie it's a surprise because you don't realize, you think one thing's happening and then something completely out of the blue happens. And it really is a really, really decent movie. As thrillers go, I think it's a really decent movie. A good cast. Kevin Bacon in there, Bill Murray. Bill Murray plays the lawyer of Matt Dillon's character, the counselor. I think Neve Campbell and Denise Richards. Neve Campbell, obviously, a lot of people would know from the Scream series. Denise Richards, she was one of the Bond girls, wasn't she? I think in one of the Pierce Brosnan ones. They both play really good roles in this as well. Really well-constructed movie. But I think it's a really decent movie. And it's one I'd heard of over the years, but I never got round to watching. I'm glad they've got this like 4K release coming soon. So I heard about it more recently. I thought, let's give this movie a watch. And I'm glad I watched it. It was definitely not a movie that is suitable for children. I would say the sexual scenes in this movie are definitely not suitable for kids. But what is also interesting with this movie, at the end of the movie, and don't miss on the end credits. The end credits of this movie basically fill in a lot of the gaps, because you kind of get to the end of this story and you're like, what have I just watched here? What have I just watched? The twists and turns, and you're like, I can't believe this happened. And you get to the end of the movie, and the end credits definitely the version I watched. It must be on all the theatrical cuts, I'm pretty sure. It shows all like of the in-between moments of what's going on. So, for instance, like I said, where the actual crime happens, where he was accused of the crime. Anyway, it blacks out. It fades to black, and in this scene, it kind of shows all of the events in between them scenes that you don't see. And the end credits really shine a further light on this movie and like kind of show a lot more, and it's kind of interesting to watch, and it's good the way they've done it at the end credits. This movie as well, surprisingly, has 3 direct-to-DVD sequels. I don't think any of the sequels have any of the original casting by the looks of it. They all seem like just random takes on this movie and trying to redo this movie in some way, shape, or form. I don't think I'd watch the other ones. I don't think... Let me know if you've watched the sequels to Wild Things. Let me know, are they any good? But this one is a really good movie. I really like the setting of this movie. I like the characters. I think the cast is really solid. And I think it's a really gripping story. I think when you get to a certain point, it just sucks you in this movie to all the twists and turns of what's going on with this. And you think it's going one way, and it'll just send you a completely other way for sure, this movie. But that is Wild Things, the first 1998 movie I want to discuss.